that's the Wi-Fi US. So,
All right, there you go.
all right.
All right.
Welcome to the June 3rd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. First item on the agenda is the meeting minutes dated May 6, 2025. I've had the opportunity to review the minutes and I find them in order. And I make a motion to approve the minutes as.
A second.
We have a second, Stacy or Bill?
Stacy seconded.
All right. Is there any public comment on the minutes? Okay, all those in favor of the minutes, approving the minutes, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is the PBO Devon Center Comprehensive Plan Alignment. We had sent a detailed memo up to the supervisors last month. They elected to table the memo and not act on it. They didn't shoot it down, they didn't approve it, they just tabled it. My understanding is that some of the supervisors thought it would be better to wait until after a new comprehensive plan gets approved before we act on that. Some of the, well, at the same time, there wasn't a consensus. I am of the opinion that we should send this back up to the supervisors and me and possibly a second person on the planning commission attend the next meeting and explain to them why we think that it makes the most sense to act on this now and get the zoning aligned with the comprehensive plan now, as opposed to waiting for another comprehensive plan process to play itself out. So I am going to make a motion that we send this back up to the supervisors for their reconsideration at the next meeting. And, you know, hopefully we can get this ball moving forward.
Okay.
It makes sense to me, Mike.
Bill, Stacy, do you have anything to say about that?
I don't.
I agree with the
Bill, do
process.
you have any
And
comments?
yeah, I think you guys can't hear me now.
We can hear you now.
Oh, you can't. Okay. Yeah, I agree with the process. I'd be happy to, you know, to attend the meeting.
Again, Bill. Sorry,
And
we're having
hear,
trouble hearing you.
Okay.
Is this something on our end that it keeps fading out like that? It's weird that they can hear each other.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. There's nothing different that we're doing. And we just had a Zoom meeting a little earlier this afternoon and everything worked accordingly, so.
Bill, do you want to try again?
Sure. I'll just say, and generally, I'm in agreement, and we'll be happy to attend the supervisors meeting to provide any context that, you know, that the memo is missing.
All right, so I'm going to exercise my authority to say that that's at least a second of your motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be appropriate to take public comment.
Great. Is there any public comments?
Yes. So speaking on behalf of the Historic Commission, we were wondering if it would be possible for us to have some kind of involvement.
Absolutely.
In the review.
It would be a public process. Nothing's done behind closed doors. This is a
Okay.
public process where, you know, we're trying to, you know, bring everything in line with the current comp plan as well. I mean, as well as the previous comp plan, what will surely be the next comp plan. You know, it's nothing offensive. We're trying to do everything open and public and
Great.
you know.
So when would the next, I guess, opportunity be for somebody from the committee, from the Historic Commission to attend?
Well, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the supervisors to approve us moving forward with this process, hopefully allocate some funding so we can get a planner. And then that would just be the beginning, you know. It's not going to be a quick thing where we're going to be voting on something next month or anything like that. It's still a long process where we're going to solicit public input multiple times and you know, try to come up with something that will really be beneficial for everybody in this township, and not the piecemeal type of stuff that's been happening in that corridor for the past 15 years. You know?
Right. Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Anything online?
Nothing online.
Okay. All those in favor of kicking it back up to the supervisors? Aye.
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 Aye. All right, it's
We
approved.
heard you, Bill.
General public comment. Does anybody have any general public comment?
Yeah, I do. Hey, my name is Brian Donadio. I live at 53 Bridge Avenue in Berwyn.
Okay,
I've been there for a little over 20 years and wanted to raise a couple of questions or raise an issue regarding the U-shaped corridor, the
Okay.
sidewalk project
Okay.
in Bridge Avenue in that area. I know Ms. Gray has met with some of the residents on Bridge Avenue. And I thought what I might do is forward along then via email proposed some additional considerations. But what I would say is the thing that I'm concerned about is whether in the proposed plan, which has sidewalk on Bridge Avenue being placed on the east side of the road, whether it's taking into consideration well enough the safety of all of the pedestrians who will need to cross bridge at what is currently is a more difficult to it's a low visibility corner at Bridge in Berwyn.
yes,
And not sure why, and I went back through some of the old meetings and minutes, et cetera, and not sure why the east side as compared to the west side has been selected. So as far as I can tell, and having talked with some of the other neighbors, either east side or west side, some residents are going to be inconvenienced. From what I could see in past meeting materials, regardless of what happens, for anybody who's currently in what I think is referred to as right of way, if they've got hedges or fencing that goes outside of their property line, but it's in what is sort of this shared space, that'll potentially have to get moved. It'll be replaced, same as, but within their property space.
Okay.
And that would happen regardless on either side of the street. What I wonder about, and there are a few other people in the neighborhood who have the same concerns, is whether the sidewalk as proposed, one, will get used the way it's intended if it's on the east side of the street, based on the way that the kids are actually walking and will traverse the neighborhood. Two, whether it will get used the way it's intended because of the existence of utility poles, and whether you can actually it's going to be wide enough to be able to use things like strollers and wheelchairs.
okay,
Three, whether, and this is the biggest concern, is the safety at the one corner, which will require everybody, regardless of whether they're turning from Bridge onto Berwyn Avenue or continuing down Bridge to the fields, to the library, and to all of the houses down in that area of the village, will require everybody crossing the street. And at a corner which has visibility issues, whether that's truly safe. And then the last thing is wondering whether and I just don't know the answer to this, whether there have been any, other than just, residents and others eyeballing, hey, look, there are a lot of kids who go this direction, there are a lot who go that direction, and these times of day, cars, whether there have been any studies that show that, that here's where people actually will use and won't use the sidewalks.
okay.
And knowing now that we're wrapping up with school, summertime, doing any sort of study there isn't going to be representative. I will say, I know that this has been a topic for quite a while. It's not a brand new thing. There's a little bit of stir within the neighborhood about it feeling new, but I think that's because helpfully a letter went out to people in the neighborhood to raise the issue. But I'll acknowledge that it's been something that's been on the agenda from both the planning commission and the supervisors for several years. But knowing now that, you know, concrete plan, this is what we want to do.
Yeah,
I'm just not sure whether there's a reason why east side versus west side is actually cost effective, safer. And you know, I will say the only reason I wondered about was if it helped to create truly continuous loop all around. But because Berwyn Avenue, when you end up looking at the map, Berwyn Avenue doesn't, as far as I can tell, is not going to have continuous sidewalk.
mhm.
You don't get the benefit by having it on the east side of the road. So that's, wanted to flag it,
Okay.
and see if there's a way to have those considerations.
Colleen,
Yeah,
do you have any comments on that, or? I'm not, I think the U-shaped stuff has been in the works for a while, right?
Yeah, the U-shaped corridor project has been on the books since 2022, from my understanding.
Mhm.
And I am more than happy to answer all of your questions. If you wanna send me an email, you can call me, you can come into the township building, I can come to your house. I am more than happy to answer all of your questions. I did sit with the residents of Bridge Avenue. I think it was sometime in March, maybe April. And I sat there for a couple hours and answered questions and
Mhm.
did all that stuff. At that meeting, I did say I was going to inquire with the township engineer about putting the sidewalk on the other end, and I am following through with what I said I was going to do. It takes a little bit of time, so they're not going to have an answer right then and there. It's a matter of figuring out. As far as the design question, the project goes from Waterloo first and Bridge. So I don't know if, I mean, if you design it that way, it's continuous, right? If you design it based off of the kids walking from the school, it is the other way, but it's not solely for the kids, right? The kids are a benefit by all means, and everybody wants the kids to walk safely, no matter where they go, but the sidewalks are going to be for everybody in the town. So it's just a matter of a design preference. It's
Mhm.
kind of like you said, if you put it on one side, some are gonna be upset. You put it on the other side, you're going to upset others. So, you know, it's just it's a give and take. As far as the utility poles, I've been in coordination with Pico because Pico is in the process of doing replacement poles. So I don't know exactly where they are going to stop along Bridge. However, it's my understanding the majority of the work is going to be happening along Leopard, Route 30, and then a small portion of Bridge. So I don't know exactly where it's gonna stand. What that project entails, I don't know. I don't know if it's you're taking out the pole and you're replacing in kind, if you're taking out the pole and you're going to, I don't know the exact process.
Yeah.
Because they haven't pulled the permits with the township yet, right? They're still, again, in the very beginning stages of the process.
Yeah.
As far as what you said about the hedges or fences and whatnot, the majority of the sidewalk along Bridge Avenue is being installed within the right of way,
Mm.
right? So within the right of way, that's what it's meant for. It's meant for utility poles and street signs and sidewalks and curbs, and that's what the intention is for. So we're not encroaching, we don't need any permanent easements. Well, that's a lie, I'm sorry. We need one permanent easement from a corner property along Bridge Avenue. So all of the construction will occur within the right of way.
Mhm.
And that is correct about, I did send out an email to the people along Bridge Avenue and asked, I understand this project is frustrating, right? You feel that nobody expressed it to you. And I asked 3 things that would make it tolerable, right? What would make it a little more palatable for you? And what we take out, such as fences or hedges or anything along those lines, will be replaced in kind, right? It will be, if it's damaged, it will be replaced in kind for sure. That's the way the construction project
Mhm.
works. So we're just trying to think outside of the box to try and maybe install mature bushes that would attract wildlife or birds or something along those lines. put the fences outside of the right of way, which technically that's the way it's supposed to be
Yeah.
per code. So, I'm listening to everything that is being heard along the, Bridge Avenue. And
Yeah.
I'm definitely, trying to incorporate and work with the residents for sure. Because the intentions of the township are definitely good, right? Like they
Yeah.
want to
Mhm.
improve the village, which sometimes people may not see, but that is definitely the intention. So, as I said, I am available anytime, right? Monday through
Yeah.
Friday, all day. You can come and see me, you can call me, you can email me, and I will be happy to show you the construction plans and what is being proposed. Okay?
Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah, and I'm not sure that there's anybody who thinks that putting the sidewalks in as a high level concept is a bad idea.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
and having now a 21-year-old and a 26-year-old, I know having moved in when they were not yet crawling and preschool, you know, having sidewalks is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
And it sounds to me, and this is what my understanding was, that, hey, if you need to move, somebody's got hedges that for some lengthy period of time have been outside their property line in this right of way, and that needs to get moved for the sidewalk, that the township is going to replace the hedges, but it's gonna be in their property line. Yeah, I totally get it. I think the biggest question is which side does it go on? And ultimately, does it go on a side that people are gonna use and use it most safely?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely, and to just so you're aware, because I spoke to the people along Bridge, I have communicated to the Eastham Township Police Department the concerns of speeding and the rolling through the stop sign, and asked it, what can be done. And I think the blind spot of coming from Bridge or coming from Berwyn onto Bridge, some of that may be caused because of the landscaping
Mhm.
within that area, which would have to be cut back. So by default, it's when you have a sidewalk installed, by default, it's essentially traffic calming because people go slower when they see sidewalk or crosswalks, and they're going to that landscape at the corner of Berwyn and Bridge is going to be cut back, so the ADA ramps can be installed. So at the end of the day, it's going to be improved, which when people come up to that intersection, it may improve the sightlines,
Mhm.
right? Because technically per PennDOT, 3.5 feet up, I'm pretty sure 3.5 feet, maybe 4 feet, like the height where you're sitting in the driver's seat, you're supposed to have a straight view of a certain amount, right?
Yeah.
And if it's blocked, then you're supposed to cut it back. So maybe
Yeah.
it's a simple answer like that. So the
Yeah.
township, just to answer your questions, the township is definitely looking at it,
Yeah.
township staff, and me specifically. I'm
Yeah.
the one that's in coordination with the township engineer, and I will definitely get you an answer as to the design.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's terrific. Yeah, so you've seen that corner.
I've
And so
absolutely, yes.
You can
I've
sit at
seen
that corner
right
and
on,
legally
yes.
stop and know that it is impossible.
Yeah.
To have any idea what's coming around the corner.
Yeah, for sure. I've
Yeah.
sat there, I sat on the porches of the residents
Mhm.
of Bridge Avenue. I've talked to all the residents,
Yeah,
or a lot of the residents, and that's it. I understand. I
Yeah.
understand their frustrations, and we're trying to work on it. Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I can speak from personal experience, Colleen is very receptive and will
Oh, yeah.
respond to your email.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah, and they have spoken, they would expressed a great deal of appreciation.
Yeah, no worries. That's what I'm here
Is
for.
there any other public comment? Anything online?
Nothing online.
Okay, I have not yet talked to my fellow planning commission members about tentatively, our next meeting is scheduled for July 1st.
That's correct.
And we'll see what everybody's available is. Other than that. I will make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Stacy, Bill, you want a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Favor? Alright,
Like it.
meeting's adjourned.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Yeah.